Yeah, thank you for the 5 months. Let's go. First one of the day. But yeah, the secret to edgeguarding Marth with Peach's down air is kind of like you need to go in very late. So you stay outside of the uppy range by the ledge. You move in very, very late. And then like time the down air. What most Peach players do is they're too close to the edge too early. If that makes sense. So I would recommend to compare your failed attempts and then look at my timing when I successfully get it. Oops. You're telling me someone to try to like... I was like one of the pioneers of reactionary like punish game in Melee. You're telling me to react to like someone just pressing A? No fucking way, dude. Yeah, everyone that compares Peach, Game & Watch, and Luigi's RNG to Hero, honestly, you guys are so far off in the discussion that it's not even like, you know, any point, you know. It's kind of like with flat earthers, you know? Like, they're so far away from the truth that it's just no point. It's just no point. If you argue that, oh, it's not enough RNG, sure. We might not agree, but at least we can have a discussion. But if you compare, even begin to compare the RNG of these other characters to Hero, you're so far away from the truth that it's like literally pointless to talk. Yeah, I don't know. The way I look at like when people compare the RNG of Hero to like other characters with RNG, it's kind of like when someone would say that a stage with like, let's say Wispy on Dreamland and Melee, compare Wispy to like stages with like 100 times more RNG. And like, whoa, they both have RNG. Well, that's not the point that both have RNG. Not that RNG is desired for a lot of people, even in small margins. Some people are cool with it. But the main point is that you're comparing something with something that is like 100 times more extreme. And if you don't see how that's an issue, then yeah. Where are you so far off? I would still argue that crits with Hero is worse than misfire. Like, sure, I think it's the same odds of happening, but Luigi's move is literally having him off stage. Like, using Luigi's misfire as a, like, finisher in a combo, or in neutral, like, not really a thing. Like, I think Luigi's misfire in Melee, I think I got hit by that less than 5 times in my career. It's like, you can't, like, those you can't compare either. I think crit is, like, for sure like, it's for sure worse. Yeah, I've been hit by more random bullshit from Hero. Like, I got hit by more bullshit things from Hero in day 1 than I got hit by misfires in, like, 10 years. No, it was so funny that Leffen beat Salem. Even though I will admit that it was like really frustrating seeing some people like, oh, Salem would have had won for sure if he stuck with Snake. It's like, first of all, he didn't stick with Snake. Second of all, I could as easily say that Leffen would have won game 2 if he stuck with Ivysaur. The thing is, same thing there. He didn't stick with Ivysaur. He made a decision to go Charizard, and it came back to bite him. Yeah, I actually did rewatch Winners Finals and Grand Finals for Melee at SmashCon, and yeah, H-Box got kinda wrecked. I do think he played quite bad, but Leffen also played really fucking good. You don't get the thing about the language barrier? Well, Shintosa, unless you currently think that everyone knows every language, then you should understand it's an issue. Like, Japanese players, people that speak English, people that speak Spanish, people that speak French, people that speak German. And it's not only the Hero player that's getting affected, it's also fighting against Hero. Because if I fight against a Hero, if I fight against a Japanese player that doesn't know English, and I don't know Japanese, what language are we gonna play on? And what if you have someone that only knows Spanish? Yeah, and that's another thing I've pointed out a lot too. What about people that have dyslexia? What are you gonna do about them? Or are they just gonna get wrecked? Is that the solution? Like, we do have rules for people with color blindness. Like, people that are colorblind can literally request certain colors to make it easier for them to separate, you know, the two characters. Like, IBDW, for example, he's like a top 10 player in Melee. Like, certain colors, he can't really separate them. So in teams, like, 2 of the colors needs to be, like, played. I think it's like blue and green, or... Yeah, I think it's blue and green. Well, I would assume that people that have dyslexia, that it would be harder for them. Especially if it's on a language that you're not, you know, comfortable with. So imagine that you're only speaking English and you have dyslexia, and now you have to play on the Japanese version. Well, the thing is, the symbols, I do agree that that would remove the language barrier thing, at the very least. But the sad part is that we need to rely on Nintendo to, you know, fix that. And if it's something that past 20 years have taught us, is that Nintendo is not to count on. Yeah, the patch notes from Nintendo are, yeah, pretty poorly translated, but after like 1 or 2 patches, like, I feel like a lot of people that are like at least, you know, quite interested, they understand like Nintendo's language. Yeah, it's true. With Hero, or no, not Hero, but Meta Knight and Bayo, it was kind of like, yeah, waiting for results, and then it was like kind of too late. The thing is, it's a tricky scenario though, because like without the results, banning a character because they're too good, like, you might not have enough, like, proof, if you want to call it that way, but when you do have enough results, then it's like, oh, you're almost banning the players. Well, the thing is, it's always the easiest. Like, I'm not saying everyone that, you know, support this point have English as their native language, but it's always the easiest to support such a thing if it's a language or system you yourself grew up with. But then, of course, like, still, even if you didn't grow up with, like... yeah, even if it is a language or a system you didn't grow up with, you might still support it. And, like, a lot of people will do. I'm just saying that it's probably more likely for people that did grow up with said system or language that they are more supportive of it. Well, Ultimate, before it even came out, a lot of stages were already, like, getting banned. The second the game was out, so it does happen. Like, not any of the items, a lot of the stages were not even up for discussion if they were gonna get legal or not. We didn't need time to like ban the fuck out of those, you know. I really don't understand how like a lot of people like can't see the possibility of Hero having too much RNG. I'm not saying you have to end up on that side of the argument, but I feel like it should be obvious enough that it's a reasonable discussion to have. Magic, that's assuming that a ban would have to happen because the character is too good, which is not the, you know, what some people are trying to argue. Like, a lot of people want to ban Hero because of too much RNG. So no, I don't agree, because you are either misunderstanding or ignoring the main point the other side have. Like, as I've said before, let's say you have a character that is like mid or high tier that has 10 times the RNG of Hero. For some people, that would be like a guaranteed ban, even if the character is not S tier, because 10 times the RNG of Hero, that would be too much. Even if the character is not the best in the game. For a lot of people, it is a line where it's too much RNG, regardless of how good or bad the character is. And I think that's a reasonable, you know, a stand to have, that too much RNG could be a thing. Well, Magic, that's assuming that the RNG has, like, that type of potential. And honestly, if I did practice Hero at 2 out of 3, with our skill difference, would probably, if my Hero was equally as good as my Inkling, then I think I would have a higher chance with Hero than with Inkling. For sure. I would still not be the favorite to win by any means, but it would be a higher chance for sure. The thing is, like, you can easily look at it from this way. Like, take a game with 0% RNG. Like, let's say we take Melee with no characters with RNG. You winning a match against a Melee player, if it's the first time you ever play the game, versus like the best in the world, is incredibly unlikely. But if you play Blackjack, or not Blackjack, but if you play Texas Hold'em for the first time ever, you, even though you have never played the game, can win the hand against the best player in the world. Because you might get the RNG for it. And the best player in the world can sometimes do absolutely nothing about it. Now I know Hero is not that extreme, but that's like, you know, it's still like one of the better metaphors I can come up with. Like, sometimes the RNG, like, the skill difference, even if it's an equal skill difference in two different games, in some games the scrub or way worse player will win in more scenarios due to the RNG. Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. If I play against the best rock, paper, scissors player in the world, I will for sure lose most of the time. But I sure as hell have a better chance than, you know, beating someone for the first time as a scrub against a world champion. I feel like my reaction time is super bad compared to a lot of people. My best advice would be to go to this website called Reddit. If you keep posting there every day and you... how do you say, transition into their culture, you are gonna have mind-blowing reaction time. You know, me myself, I don't spend enough time there, so my reaction time is quite bad. That's why, you know, when I play against Hero sometimes, I just lose to things because I haven't spent enough time there. No, but on a serious note, trying to react to the same thing over and over will make it easier to react to. It's like your brain processed information faster.